So we've all been told that having a high IQ is pretty much the golden ticket to success, right? But is it really the whole story? Today, we're going to dig into what actually makes the difference between people who just get by and those who truly, truly thrive. You've seen this happen, I'm sure of it. You've got that one person who's just brilliant, off the chart smart, but they can't seem to get ahead in life. And then there's someone else, maybe with more modest intelligence, who just sails through everything. This isn't an accident, you know. It points to something really important that we often miss about what success is all about. Okay, get ready for this, because here's a number that might just blow your mind. Research suggests that IQ, it only accounts for about 20% of the factors that determine success in life. 20%. That leaves this massive 80% gap. So, what fills that gap? Well, that's where a whole different kind of smarts comes in: emotional intelligence. All right, so to really get a handle on that other 80%, we need to first talk about the limits of IQ. Think of it this way. IQ is the starting point, not the finish line. It's like having a ticket to the big game. Sure, it gets you through the gate, but it says nothing about whether you're going to win. And there's actually a name for this. It's called the IQ threshold effect. Basically, it means that once you hit a certain point, and that seems to be around an IQ of 120, having an even higher IQ doesn't really predict you'll be more successful or happier. After that point, other things become way, way more important. So to put it really simply, being smart enough gets you in the door. It might even land you the job. But it's not what helps you thrive once you're inside the room. It's just the baseline, the price of admission. After that, a totally different skill set is what determines how well you actually do. You see, our whole idea of what it means to be smart is just way too narrow. If we really want to understand what makes people successful, we need a much bigger picture. So let's dive into this idea that there isn't just one way to be smart. There are actually many. And this is where Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences comes in, and it's a real game changer. He argued that it's not just about being word smart or number smart. No way. You can be smart with pictures, with your body, with music. But for what we're talking about today, the two most important ones he identified are interpersonal intelligence, that's being people smart, and intrapersonal intelligence, which is being self-smart. And here's the key takeaway from that. Intelligence isn't this one single thing. It's multiple things serving different purposes. We all have our own unique mix of these intelligences. You know, a great artist, an amazing athlete, a gifted therapist. They're all incredibly intelligent, just in ways that a standard IQ test could never, ever measure. So those last two we mentioned, being people smart and self-smart, well, that's pretty much the foundation of what we now call emotional intelligence, or EQ. So let's break it down. What does that actually mean? There are 5 core skills that make up this whole framework. Okay, so it all starts with number 1, self-awareness. This is the big one, the keystone. It's simply about recognizing your own emotions as they're happening. Knowing that feeling in your gut is anxiety, not just something you ate. From there, you get number 2, self-regulation. Once you're aware of an emotion, can you manage it? Can you take a breath instead of lashing out? Then we've got motivation. This is about using your emotions to push you towards a goal, to stay focused even when it's tough. Number 4 is empathy, which is all about recognizing emotions in other people. And finally, you pull it all together with social skills, being able to manage relationships and navigate the emotional landscape with others. You can see how they all build on each other, right? Now, this next point is absolutely crucial. Maybe the most important thing we'll talk about. These 5 domains, they are not fixed traits you're born with. They are learnable skills. Unlike your IQ, which stays pretty stable, your EQ is something you can actively work on and improve for your entire life. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds nice, but where's the actual proof? Fair enough. Well, let me tell you about one of the most famous psychological tests of all time. It's all about a marshmallow, and it shows the power of these emotional skills in a big, big way. So here's the setup. It's super simple. A researcher puts a little kid in a room with a marshmallow on a plate, and they give them a choice. You can have this one marshmallow right now, or if you can just wait for me to come back in about 15 minutes and not eat this one, you'll get 2 marshmallows later. It's the ultimate test of willpower for a kid, right? So what happened? Well, the kids who managed to wait didn't just sit there staring at it and suffering. They were smart about it. They used emotional skills, they distracted themselves, they covered their eyes, sang little songs, whatever it took to resist. But here's the incredible part. Years later, researchers followed up, and they found that the kids who could delay gratification, the ones who waited for that second marshmallow, had better life outcomes across the board. Better grades, better social lives, you name it. And get this, that one skill was a better predictor of their future success than their IQ scores. Okay, so let's be super clear. The point of all this is not to say that IQ doesn't matter and EQ is the only thing that does. Not at all. The real magic, the real power, happens when you put them together. So let's look at how IQ and EQ integrate to create the best possible conditions for success. Just for a second, let's look at the two extremes, the pure types. On one hand, you've got the super high IQ person, intellectually brilliant for sure, but maybe a bit critical, a little detached, maybe even socially awkward. On the other hand, you have the high EQ person. They're super charming, caring, great with people, but, neither of these profiles is really the whole package, is it? And that brings us right to the main takeaway. The most successful, most fulfilled, most effective people aren't the ones who are just book smart or just people smart. They're the ones who have both. They combine that raw intellectual horsepower with real emotional wisdom. It's not IQ times or EQ. It's IQ and EQ. That's the winning formula. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Look, for the most part, your IQ is what it is. It's pretty much set. But your emotional intelligence, your EQ, that is a completely different story. That is something you can build, you can grow, you can strengthen every single day for the rest of your life. So the real question isn't, how smart are you? The real question is, what are you going to build?